I stepped out for an open mic yesterday. It was super forced and awkward. And I saw this painting in the garage I did with my daughter. We did like painting over the weekend. And I came up with this. My open mic performance was maybe on par with this painting. So, depending on whom you ask and how nice they are, that's how it went. People were very kind. It was interesting to see where I'm at, I guess, in that moment. And I was seeing how a lot of my value in that place was making others feel good about themselves um, and to have that energy. I was told by someone, there's someone in my dance hangout that told me that I have a troll energy, like a hobbit kind of a person, where that's uh, I've kind of been a mom my whole life, so that's part of it. So like all these thoughts came, like all these good job music superstar, but and then just kind of thinking about um, all these thoughts about you know who I am and how I show up. Um, and then kind of the lesson of it's not about, I guess, some of the wisdom, a lot of the wisdom that has come out of a lot of these videos that I've come across is it's not for me to know how I show up. It's not for me to plot where I am or who I am, like in society. My job, so to speak, is to experience things and to be present and experience things as fully as they can be experienced. Um, and some of the stuff is, I recognize that I feel like being giving is where it's at, but it's coming from an ignorant place, oftentimes with me, where, it might be I'm superimposing childhood worthiness stuff instead of being truly, truly giving. I'm trying to be like accommodating or okay or valuable in some way, um, trying to assign value to me, or to be not in trouble or something, um, instead of being a truly giving person. And I think the more that I get over myself and um, yeah, it comes back to presence and giving myself that time. I did that yesterday. I was like, okay, back to presence. Come on. Um, so yeah, but getting on stage definitely, it shakes you up. I can, I, I'm thinking I can maybe count on one hand, certainly not more than two, the number of times that I've gotten up on stage. Um, and on the other hand, I can remember like I was kind of shaken up and feeling awkward and I wasn't warmed up or prepared or anything. So like it's not like, oh, I suck. It's like, okay, that's what it looks like when you do something that you haven't prepared for. Um, and it's a matter of how much do I want to suck or not suck at music or at performance. Um, and, where do I want to apply myself? Because I think success in that or, feeling good about performing Um, that's kind of a worldly, a relative world thing to do. Um, and it's still just, it only has as much worth as I put into it. So yeah, but it was good to just be able to do that. Um, and just to see what came up for me, which was really kind of the point, to see what's coming up for me. They announced to everyone at work who's staying and who's going. And the friend of mine who's been there for over 10 years, who got me this job, has been let go. And I have not been let go. And I felt so sad for her. And I'm kind of doing my best to support her and tell her that it's going to be okay. um, but I know that that can be so stressful when your livelihood is kicked around like that. Um, I'm just feeling lucky. And I also, uh, there were two meetings that were scheduled simultaneously, um, for caregivers of special needs people, which I am. And it reminded me that my life's not so simple, but it's also very blessed. Um, I'm extremely lucky. Um, but also dealing with a lot. So it's okay to, you know, appreciate all that stuff in all meanings of that word. Um, yeah, just kind of a rundown of where I'm at and my experience right now. And a friend of mine from very far away reached out. Um, it's so sweet when little, I don't know, when things like this are coming together. I don't know about sweet, but like, you know, that suddenly I'm texting with a couple of friends this morning, and just when a friend reaches out and says, "Hey, I'm thinking of you," and sometimes I find myself doing that, and sometimes I find a friend doing that to me, and it's so sweet. And it's so nice to remember that even though there's a lot of people who are far away, I still have community. I have community here in town, and I have community globally with people and all over the country. Yeah, I'm tempted to do like a recap thing, or like a this is how I'm doing. Like I think I'm like eating more, coping with winter stuff, but really it's just, you know, stuff, trying to feel things more and not hide from feelings. Or I'm trying to at least pause before doing the next distracting thing, where I'm like, what am I doing? Like there was a lot of shame yesterday after that performance. And not just because it was not so spectacular, but because I was kind of annoying, but they were like, don't worry about it. Anyway, it was just this like, you know, stuff, and just social stuff coming up. Anyway, I was just noticing that. Like I was speeding on the way home, and I was like, what are you doing? Running away from feeling this? Let's see what it feels like to let this live in my body and not put it on the speedometer, you know, not run up the numbers. So it was interesting to just pay attention to things of like, oh, there's another behavior another compulsion that I have. Let's see if I can pause that for even an instant, even a little bit, take some breaths and really feel where this is in the body. Um, and then if I proceed to do something, it's like, all right, I'm going to choose to do that. But um, life is happening and it's great. And I want to transcend this stuff. And I was thinking about awakening and what that would look like. And that would, I feel like I got a little more of a glimpse of what that might be, that it might be terrifying and a complete, like, no, you actually don't exist. You don't matter, and all this stuff. And how unspectacular you feel sometimes. You are unspectacular because you don't exist. And how spectacular you feel. Yes, you're spectacular, but that's not the you that you think you are. And what would be so great is seeing behind the veil of sometimes I just want to have more of a clue of what, of the worthiest pursuit. There were a couple of things that I came across. Um, I think it. Um, hmm. It was something like one of the benefits of awakening is you might get an answer to that question of what is worth doing, like what is the thing to be doing. To not be, chasing things that aren't real. And I think someone said, like, sometimes you'll mess up a smaller game to keep yourself from, I think it was Simply Always Awake. Sometimes you'll mess up the small game so that you don't have to face, like, your higher potential. So, anyway, I'm gonna give myself grace on this compulsive misbehavior and try and pause it as much as I can so I can get more to presence, giving myself time with my body and stillness. And so that I can tap into what's the thing to be doing without it being a choice, just, live presently. And then I don't have to ask the question of like, well, should I, I should practice my music more and get better at that. Or no, that's not worth pursuing. Like, I won't need to think about that. It'll be if I feel like playing the guitar just then, I will. But I need to clear my head so that I can live. So I'm going to see if I can do that. Because I'm just kind of trying to composite all of this stuff that I just experienced like within the last night, but also this morning. And that it's okay not to do that. So I'm gonna see if I can take some breaths and relax. And I can't believe it's noon already. Things.